In the quiet hours of the night when the world softens and the noise of the day fades into stillness, there is a hidden opportunity, a moment where intention becomes powerful and simple actions carry deep meaning. Tonight you are invited to do something simple yet profound. Garlic, though humble in appearance, has long been known as a symbol of protection, cleansing, and quiet strength. It does not shine like gold, yet it guards like a silent warrior. It does not speak, yet it carries a presence that clears what is heavy and invites what is light. The first placement is at your door. Before you sleep, take a few cloves of garlic and place them near the entrance of your home. This is not just a physical act, it is a declaration. The door is where energy enters, where intentions cross from the outside world into your sacred space. By placing garlic here, you are setting a boundary. You are saying only what is pure, only what is beneficial may enter. Negativity loses its path. Harmful intentions find no welcome. Prosperity, like a gentle guest, feels invited. As you place it, do not rush. Pause, feel the stillness. Let your mind become clear like calm water. In that moment, you are not just placing garlic, you are placing awareness. The second placement is beneath your pillow. This may seem unusual, but the hours of sleep are not empty. They are a journey. The mind travels, the spirit restores, and unseen burdens sometimes reveal themselves. By placing garlic beneath your pillow, you create a shield during this vulnerable state. It is said that what is hidden begins to dissolve, and what is blocked begins to loosen. But more importantly, this act reminds you of something deeper. Your inner world matters. Prosperity does not begin outside, it begins within. A peaceful mind attracts clear decisions, create right action. Right action leads to abundance. As you lie down, do not carry the weight of the day. Let it fall away. Let your thoughts pass like clouds. The garlic beneath your pillow is not magic, it is a symbol of your intention to rest in clarity and wake in strength. The third placement is in your kitchen. The kitchen is where nourishment is created, where life is sustained. It represents your ability to provide, to grow, and to share. Place garlic in a clean, visible corner of this space. Not hidden, not forgotten, present. This placement is a reminder that prosperity is not only wealth. It is food on the table, warmth in the home, and the ability to give without fear. When your space of nourishment is protected and honored, the flow of abundance becomes steady. As you place it, reflect on gratitude, not for what you wish to have, but for what already exists. Gratitude opens doors that force cannot. These three placements are simple, yet they carry a deeper teaching. Prosperity is not chased, it is allowed. It comes to those who create space for it, who remove what blocks it, and who align their actions with calm awareness. The garlic is only a tool. The true power lies in your intention, your stillness, and your willingness to act with purpose. So tonight, move quietly. Place each clove with care. Let your home become a place of protection, your mind a place of clarity, and your life a path of gentle abundance. And when the morning comes, do not look for sudden miracles. Instead, notice the subtle shifts, the lighter feeling, the clearer thoughts, the small opportunities that begin to appear. For often, prosperity does not arrive like a storm. It arrives like a whisper, heard only by those who have learned to be still. Guard your space with intention. Placing garlic at the entrance symbolizes protection and control over what energy enters your life. Prosperity begins when you consciously allow only positive influences into your environment. When you begin to understand the nature of your surroundings, you realize that not everything that enters your life is visible to the eyes. Some things arrive as feelings, as moods, as subtle shifts in energy that influence your thoughts and actions without asking for permission. This is why guarding your space is not an act of fear, but an act of awareness. It is a quiet decision to take responsibility for what you allow into your world. The entrance of your home is more than just a doorway. It is a threshold between the outer world and your inner sanctuary. Every person who walks through it, every sound that crosses it, every intention that lingers near it leaves an impression. When you mindlessly allow everything to pass through, your space becomes heavy, and over time your mind begins to carry that same weight. Prosperity cannot settle in a place that feels crowded with unseen burdens. To guard your space with intention means to become conscious of this flow. It is to pause and recognize that you have the power to choose what belongs and what does not. The act of placing something as simple as garlic at your door is not about superstition, it is about creating a moment of mindfulness. In that moment, you are no longer acting out of habit, you are acting with purpose. As your hand moves with awareness, your mind begins to follow. You start to feel a sense of control, not over the world, but over your response to it. And this is where true power lies. You are not trying to block life itself, but only the negativity that disturbs your peace and clouds your clarity. When your space feels lighter, your thoughts become clearer. When your thoughts are clear, your actions become more aligned. People often chase prosperity as if it is something far away, something that must be earned through struggle alone. But prosperity also requires space to enter. If your environment is filled with distraction, negativity, and unconscious habits, there is no room for it to settle. By guarding your space, you are quietly preparing a place where growth can happen naturally. Over time, this practice begins to change you. You become more aware of who you allow into your life, what conversations you entertain, and what influences you absorb. You stop reacting to everything and start choosing wisely. This is the deeper meaning behind the act. It is not about the object placed at the door, but about the awareness placed within yourself. And as this awareness grows, you will notice something subtle yet powerful. Your space begins to feel different. It becomes calm, steady, and supportive. In such a space, prosperity does not feel forced. It feels welcomed. Inner peace attracts outer wealth. Keeping garlic beneath your pillow represents cleansing the mind during rest. A calm, clear mind leads to better decisions, and better decisions naturally open the path to abundance. There is a quiet truth that many overlook. The outer world often reflects the condition of the inner one. When the mind is restless, filled with scattered thoughts and hidden worries, even the greatest opportunities can pass unnoticed. But when the mind becomes still and clear, even the smallest opportunity is seen, understood, and used wisely. This is why inner peace is not separate from prosperity. It is the foundation upon which it quietly grows. The hours of the night are not empty. While the body rests, the mind continues its subtle work, processing, releasing, and restoring. Yet for many, sleep becomes a place where worries deepen instead of dissolving. Thoughts repeat, fears grow louder, and the mind remains unsettled. In such a state, even rest does not truly refresh. The next day begins with the same heaviness carried forward. To bring peace into this inner space is to prepare the ground for a different kind of life. The simple act of placing garlic beneath your pillow is not about the object itself, but about the way it makes you feel, but about what it represents: a conscious intention to cleanse the mind and protect your inner state during its most vulnerable hours. It becomes a signal, a reminder that you are choosing rest over worry, clarity over confusion. As you lie down, the practice invites you to let go. Not forcefully, not with struggle, but gently. You begin to notice your breath slow and steady. You allow your thoughts to pass without holding on to them. This is where the shift begins. When you stop feeding restless thoughts, they lose their strength. When you stop clinging to the events of the day, they begin to fade. From this stillness, something powerful emerges: clarity. A clear mind sees things as they are, not as fear or desire distorts them. Decisions made from such a state are simple, direct, and effective. And it is through these decisions that prosperity takes form, not through luck alone, but through the ability to act wisely at the right time. Inner peace also changes how you respond to challenges. Where there was once anxiety, there is now patience. Where there was confusion, there is now understanding. This does not mean life becomes free of difficulty, but it means you no longer become lost within it. You remain steady, like a calm lake that reflects clearly even when the winds pass over it. Over time, this calm becomes your nature. You begin to trust your thoughts, your choices, and your direction. And as this trust deepens, opportunities seem to appear more frequently, not because the world has changed, but because you are finally able to see and receive what was always there. In this way, inner peace does not chase prosperity. It quietly attracts it, like still water drawing the reflection of the moon. Nourishment is the root of prosperity. Placing garlic in the kitchen reminds you that true wealth starts with basic stability: food, health, and the ability to sustain yourself and others. Prosperity is often imagined as something distant, something grand and difficult to reach. Many believe it lives only in wealth, status, or possessions, and so they spend their days chasing these things without pause. Yet in this pursuit, they overlook a simple truth. Before abundance can expand, it must first be sustained. And the ability to sustain life begins with nourishment. The place where nourishment is created carries a deeper meaning than it appears. It is not merely a space for preparing food, it is a reflection of your relationship with care, stability, and provision. When this space is neglected, disordered, or treated without awareness, it subtly influences how you experience the rest of your life. A restless environment creates a restless mind, and a restless mind struggles to recognize or hold on to prosperity. To honor this space is to acknowledge that true wealth is built from the ground up. The act of placing garlic in your kitchen is not about decoration or routine. It is a quiet statement of respect for the source of your daily sustenance. It serves as a reminder that before seeking more, you must learn to value what already supports you. When you enter your kitchen with awareness, something begins to change. You no longer rush through it as a place of obligation. Instead, it becomes a place of intention. Every action, from preparing a meal to simply standing in that space, carries a sense of presence. And from this presence arises gratitude, not forced but natural. Gratitude has a subtle power. It shifts your focus from what is missing to what is already present. This shift is important because a mind that constantly feels lack will always act from fear, and fear disrupts the flow of growth. But a mind that recognizes sufficiency becomes calm, and in that calmness, better choices are made. Over time, this awareness strengthens your ability to provide not just for yourself, but for others as well. You begin to see that prosperity is not only about receiving, it is also about giving without strain. When your foundation is stable, generosity becomes effortless, and in giving, the sense of abundance deepens. This practice also teaches patience. Just as food takes time to be prepared and enjoyed, so does the process of building a prosperous life. There is no need to rush or force outcomes. When the foundation is strong, growth happens naturally and steadily. In this way, nourishment becomes more than a daily necessity, it becomes a symbol of balance. When you care for the source of your sustenance with awareness and respect, you create a steady flow in your life. And within that steady flow, prosperity finds a place not just to arrive, but to remain. Small rituals create powerful shifts. Simple, mindful actions done with awareness can realign your energy. It's not the object, but the intention behind it that creates transformation. There is a tendency in the human mind to search for grand solutions to life's challenges, to believe that only big actions can bring meaningful change. Yet, if you observe carefully, you will notice that life itself is shaped by small, repeated movements, tiny choices made daily, often without attention. These small actions, when performed unconsciously, can lead a person into confusion and imbalance. But when done with awareness, they become powerful enough to transform the direction of one's life. A simple ritual, though it may appear ordinary, carries the potential to awaken this awareness. It is not the complexity of the act that matters, but the presence you bring into it. When you perform even the smallest action with full attention, you step out of the habit of rushing and enter a state of clarity. In that state, your mind is no longer scattered across many thoughts, it becomes centered, steady, and aligned. The placement of garlic in different areas of your home is one such act. It is not about the object itself, but about interrupting the automatic patterns of your day. Most people move through their routines without truly being present. They act, but they do not notice. They decide, but they do not reflect. Over time, this lack of awareness creates a life that feels disconnected and unbalanced. When you choose to engage in a mindful ritual, you break this cycle. You slow down. You observe your movements. You become aware of your surroundings and your intentions. This shift, though subtle, begins to ripple into other areas of your life. You start to notice how you speak, how you react, and how you make decisions. Awareness begins to replace habit, and it is in this awareness that transformation occurs. When you are aware, you can choose differently. You can let go of actions that no longer serve you and strengthen those that bring clarity and balance. What once felt automatic becomes intentional. What once felt chaotic begins to feel ordered. Many believe that change requires force, but true change often arises from gentle consistency. A small act repeated with intention becomes a foundation. Over time, that foundation grows stronger, supporting larger shifts without struggle. You do not need to control everything at once. You only need to begin with one conscious step. As this practice deepens, you may begin to notice that your life feels less rushed and more meaningful. There is a quiet sense of control, not over external events, but over your inner state. And from this inner steadiness, your actions become more effective, your decisions more aligned, and your path more clear. In this way, small rituals are not insignificant. They are gateway, simple doors that lead from unconscious living to mindful existence. And once that door is opened, even slightly, the possibility for lasting transformation begins to unfold naturally. Gratitude opens the flow of abundance, recognizing and appreciating what you already have, removes scarcity thinking, and invites more blessings into your life naturally. There is a subtle barrier that prevents many from experiencing true abundance, and it is not found in the outside world. It lives quietly within the mind, shaped by constant comparison, endless desire, and the feeling that something is always missing. This sense of lack becomes so familiar that it begins to feel normal. Even when blessings are present, they go unnoticed, and the heart remains restless, always searching for more. Gratitude is the gentle force that dissolves this barrier. It does not demand effort or struggle, it simply asks you to see clearly what is already in your life. Yet this simple act is often overlooked because the mind is trained to focus on absence rather than presence. It chases what is not there and forgets to honor what already exists. When you begin to practice gratitude, even in small ways, your perception starts to shift. What once seemed ordinary begins to reveal its value. A quiet home, a shared meal, a moment of rest, these are no longer insignificant. They become signs of stability, of support, of a life that is already holding you in ways you may not have noticed before. This shift in awareness changes how you feel, and how you feel shapes how you act. A mind rooted in lack often acts out of fear of losing, fear of not having enough, fear of being left behind. These fears create tension, and from that tension come decisions that are rushed, forced, and often misaligned. But when gratitude is present, fear begins to soften. There is less urgency, less pressure, and more clarity. From this calm state, your actions become more balanced. You are no longer trying to grasp everything at once. Instead, you move with patience, trusting that what is meant to grow will grow in its time. This patience does not slow you down, it steadies you. And in that steadiness, your efforts become more effective. Gratitude also opens the heart in a quiet way. It encourages generosity not as an obligation, but as a natural expression of feeling full rather than empty. When you feel that you have enough, giving no longer feels like a loss. It becomes a continuation of the flow you are already experiencing. And in this flow, abundance deepens. Over time, this practice begins to reshape your inner world. The constant noise of dissatisfaction fades, replaced by a quiet contentment. This does not mean you stop growing or desiring better for yourself, but your desire becomes peaceful rather than desperate. In this way, gratitude does not chase abundance. It creates the space where abundance can enter and remain gently and without resistance.